afternoon. As always, thank you for tuning into SuppTalk Radio. It's been a little bit of a challenge bringing on my guest tonight because he's been off doing some great things. We've been chatting for, maybe 6, 8, 9 months here. He is finally home with his family and affording us some time tonight. But I'm excited. He's got some great news to share with us, some different news, and a lot of exciting things to talk about. But in my long-windedness, allow me to introduce Marc with a C, not with a K, from Iron Brother Supplements. Marc, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me on, Sean. It's great to finally get some time put aside here to have a good chat with you. Let me just get up here. I'm going to dim the lights a little.
Oh, geez.
Light these scented candles. Light these scented candles and let the magic happen.
You going to put some mood music on in the background, too?
That might distract our listeners.
We'll
let them.
This is our first live conversation, so maybe we save that for the next date. That
sounds good. Second dates for sure.
So, Marc, how long have you guys been in business now? Is it a year, or what are you guys coming on?
I'd have to say Iron Brothers was started over 2 years ago, but our first product didn't become live on Amazon. That was the Relentless V1, and that was June of 2017. So it's almost 2 years.
And how long prior were you thinking about, coming out with a product line or supplement line?
I was doing my research on, how to sell on Amazon, how to do up the listings, the inventory, all that stuff. I probably started that 7, 8 months before the product went live.
And what is your background exactly, Marc?
My background, that's a long story. I'll try not to bore everyone. I'm from Nova Scotia. Okay. I grew up in Cape Breton, Nova Scotia. Went to university for 2 years after high school. Just wanted to get out of the town I grew up in. Went to university for 2 years. Couldn't figure out anything I wanted to spend the rest of my life doing. Couldn't find something to major in. So I took a job working on the Great Lakes on 730-foot self-unloading ships. Basically, the ship would go from port to port, pick up a dry cargo in one port, transport it across the lakes, drop it off in another port, repeat.
Okay.
That work schedule was pretty rough, but when I look back on it now, it was 3 months on with 1 month off. So, a guy he'd make some good coin, and then he'd go spend it all on his month off. I did that for 6 years, and then I said, you know what, this is no life, a guy will never find a wife or a woman that's going to stick around when he's never home. So I had a bunch of buddies living out west, and this used to be the oil capital of Canada. It used to kind of be like the Texas of Canada.
Okay.
Not so much anymore. But I came out here. I worked on the actual drilling rigs for over 6 years, and then I made my way over to the directional side, where you work in a shack. I have a tool. I screw together 5, 6 probes. To make a long story short, you set that down hole on top of the drill bit. Once you get drilling, that transmits data up through the mud system.
Okay.
Gets decoded, and then all that information is handed over to the directional drillers so they can steer the well to where it needs to be landed, and then it also logs formations. I give that information to the geologists, send morning reports to my directional company, send reports to Calgary, send the gamma and the formation logging to Calgary. And, I'm not going to lie, and sometimes the tool would stay down hole for 5, 6 days. I'd wake up, I'd sleep. I love my sleep, I'm not going to lie. I'd sleep long as I could, 8, 9 hours, because I know how important sleep is for gaining muscle. I'd sleep as long as I could. I'd wake up, I'd do an hour paperwork in the morning, hop in the truck, gone to the gym. Wouldn't matter if the gym was an hour and a half away or 10 minutes. The gym, I had to get to the gym.
Okay.
So get to the gym, and then after that, I'd come back to the shack. And, before I got dedicated with Iron Brothers, I would basically sit around and, watch TV, stare out the window, nap, maybe go to the gym again, spend time on social media, basically just wasting time, waiting to get home, missing the family because, I wouldn't go for 3 months at a time, but some hitches were 30, 40, 50 days, so there'd be long periods of time away from home there as well.
Marc, God bless you. God bless you, my friend.
Yeah. Thank you. A guy has to put food on the table, and I've always been pretty relentless when it comes to work. One thing I've had is a good work ethic.
Interesting. So now, what about growing up? Were you an athlete, playing sports or anything?
I played some basketball. Unfortunately, I'm not going to lie. I really love hockey. I still do. I still love hockey. But growing up, hockey's expensive, and back when I was young, my parents, they just didn't have the money to get those expensive skates and shin pads and gloves and sticks and all that. So I played a lot of road hockey.
So are you a big professional hockey fan?
I love the Maple Leafs. Yeah, I love watching playoff hockey. Nothing better.
So before we get too far down here, why don't you give a quick prediction? What two teams are going to the Cup, and who do you think is going to win?
I think it's going to be. I'm not a Boston fan. I just like Boston, not the city, the team, the Bruins.
Yep.
But I think it's going to be Boston and San Jose, and I really hope San Jose wins it because they've been trying hard for a long time now. I think they deserve the Cup this year.
You know what though? I'm a big hockey fan as well, and I'm a Penguins fan. I've been a Pittsburgh Penguins fan, even though I'm in Boston here since the '90s. And it's been a very weird playoff season where the Penguins get swept, and then the Lightning get swept, and the Islanders go into the second round. Yes, they get swept, but it's just been a very bizarre playoff series or season, I should say.
Oh, for sure, and Washington out in the first round as well.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'd love to see. I've looked at the stats lately. I'd love to see maybe Columbus or one of the underdogs, kind of go a little bit further. But I haven't. I don't know. I guess we'll see what happens.
I'm not going to lie. I haven't really been following it as much as I used to this year. I'm pretty busy with Iron Brothers, but Boston just beat out Columbus the other night. I think the game is coming on now. Boston versus Carolina.
Oh, yeah, it shows how much I'm following myself.
Yeah. Well, you're there. You're watching.
So, but now, so you fast forward, you go ahead and come out with Iron Brothers supplements. Is it just you, or is there someone else, meaning the brothers?
I had a buddy that I did a lot of directional work with. He was a directional driller, and when I met him, he was already selling on Amazon. He had another company selling, nutraceuticals on there. He was making good money, and I remember. He called me up, and he'd start to get sold, 40,000 this month and 45,000, and of course I was happy for the guy. But after about the seventh or eighth time he called, I had to say to him, listen, man, if all you're going to do is call me up and tell me how good you're doing on Amazon, call somebody else. I got all these kids here, and I'm trying to figure out how to sell on Amazon too. And then, make a long story short, a couple of days later, he said, "Well, why don't we get together and we'll do something on Amazon?" He was big into training too. He was training, 25 years. He's a little older than me, but basically that's who started Iron Brothers was me and Robbie. And since then, Robbie he's gracefully bowed out of Iron Brothers. He's a serial entrepreneur. He ended up having, 3 other companies selling products on Amazon. So he basically said he just didn't have the time for Iron Brothers, and the other companies were going to take precedence. And he always knew Iron Brothers was my baby. I've been grinding away at this now for well over 2 years. So he helped with the Amazon listings at first, and then just recently he bowed away.
So, Marc, with so many companies out there launching daily, what made you decide to go ahead and open up your own supplement line? What were you trying to, what void were you trying to fill, or what were you trying to do?
Honestly, I consider myself somewhat of a supplement connoisseur. I've always had a little bit of disposable income from working those jobs out of town to spend a little bit of extra money on supplements.
Okay.
And one thing that I noticed is the industry didn't really have much of a personality. It was just companies. There was no faces to these companies. It's a little different now. People are getting, the CEOs are really getting their face out there.
Yep.
At the time, there wasn't much label transparency either. So I was getting really annoyed with, buying these expensive prop blends that just weren't doing anything. And the last thing was the customer service. I won't name the company. they have expensive products, and I probably made 14 or 15 purchases off of this one company.
Okay.
And there was a couple times, I never want to reach out to customer service, but if you have a problem with your product, or they don't ship you a product that you pay for, or a product gets lost at the border, and you just reach out and see if they send another bottle your way on your next order. And this one company, they just didn't care. And I'm thinking to myself, like, even when I look at it now, like I monitor our Shopify website, and I know who the repeat buyers are, and I know it's not hard to tell, but I just found it dirty that these people wouldn't say, okay, this Marc, let me check here. Oh wow, he's got this many products off him. Let's send him a test booster that we pay
sure,
$15 for. Yeah, let's keep this guy happy so he stays around. But they just they wouldn't do it. But I need to go ahead.
So I guess obviously you had a problem with the product that you had purchased, and obviously you were doing the customer thing, reaching out and saying there's something defective or something wrong, and they weren't rectifying it.
That's correct. Yeah, they told me one time, they said, we're not Amazon.
Well, nobody's Amazon. Nobody's freaking Amazon.
No, exactly. But I just figured that we could jump in there and slowly grind away and make a difference, and communicate with the customers, with the fellow Iron Brothers. Like I talked to quite a few people. I consider them friends of mine, and anybody that reaches out, even as a CEO, I'll always take 5-10 minutes to talk to anybody about anything. If you want to talk about products, you want a refund, no question asked refund. Or if you're having problems in life, or you're having, marital problems, or you're stressed or depressed, like, if you're an Iron Brother, I have time for you. I'll make time for you.
Marc, and I think sometimes that's where social media, and we'll go more towards Instagram, because I think in all the social media platforms, I think Instagram is probably the most popular, where it's almost a blessing and a curse. Where on the blessing side, everybody is more readily accessible. People can talk or send you a direct DM, or can send a DM to somebody behind the company. But in the same boat, though, it opens up sometimes too much negativity. Not on supplements, but just in general, though. So it's a fine line, I think, sometimes.
I definitely agree. I used to spend quite a bit of time on Facebook a few years ago, and at the end of it, it just got so depressing and draining on a guy's soul. I vowed away from Facebook for a good 2 years. It was just politics and negativity, and it was just bringing me down, making me depressed. So I said, well, you can cut that shit out,
Exactly.
Life is depressing enough. I don't need, some guy that, thinks he's a political scientist who never graduated from high school telling me how, politics should be ran. And so...
Yeah, exactly. So how many different names of Iron Brothers, how many different names did you think of the company before you agreed on Iron Brothers? Or was it pretty much shut and dry?
It was shut and dry. Like, I've actually been using that word, and, the bond between fellow lifters, Iron Brothers. That was something I always called my friends that I went to lift with. Everybody was always an Iron Brother. So when it came time to pick a company name, it was a no-brainer.
Gotcha.
I just can't believe it was. I can't believe it wasn't already trademarked, to be honest with you.
So I guess you got lucky in that case. That's good.
Got lucky, and we got lucky on the trademark as well. It's like 2 years, 3 lawyers, 2 appeals, and I found out on April 1st that we're going to get the trademark for it. So that was pretty exciting day.
So now, Marc, is there a big difference? Because obviously you sell your product, obviously in Canada, and then obviously you sell it here in the States. So is it, I guess, which regulation do you really have to play by? Because I know there's probably a little bit of differences between the U.S. regulations of coming out with a product and the Canadian regulations. Was there a lot of, I guess, did you have to do a lot of research, a lot of homework before you came out with your first product?
I don't sell any products up here in Canada.
Oh, you don't? Okay.
No. Health Canada, I'll give you a quick rundown of the way the process works up here. With Health Canada, you have to hire a firm that will go out and they'll file your paperwork for an NPN number. Mm-hmm. natural product license. And basically, for a pre-workout, it's class 3. Most products are class 3. You know, this firm, they take about 2 months to round up all the paperwork, COAs and checklists and dosages and master formulas and, you know, standardizations, et cetera. Once they finalize their paperwork, they send it off to Health Canada, and Health Canada takes 210 days before they approve or disapprove your NPN application. Yes, and without that 8-digit NPN number on your label, you're not allowed to sell those products in stores up here because they're considered, through Health Canada, they're considered as not safe. Products are not safe for use unless Health Canada tells you that you're. I know, and an example of the way the regulations work up here. You can't. The Health Canada will tell you cannot take more than 200 milligrams of caffeine at one time.
Okay.
For another example is L-citrulline. You can't use 5 grams at one time. You're only allowed to use 3 grams. And for stimulants, I believe the only stimulants you're allowed to use up here is caffeine anhydrous, caffeine citrate, and theobromine. Like the options are very limited. I've actually been buying my supplements in the U.S. for probably 4 years now.
Have you? Okay.
Yeah, just everything up here is just so watered down. And once I made a few orders from the States, I said, you know, this pre-workout really kicks, or the products were just such higher quality that I just kept buying into the States.
So now, so let's just say you come out with a pre-workout, so you need 1 NPN for that, and you come out with a BCAA, in Canada, of course. You need a second NPN, so it's an NPN for each product or category?
That's correct. Yeah, every product you need to have an NPN. I have 3 PNs rolling right now, and you know that those products should have their NPNs in January, February of 2020.
Okay. So,
and another shitty thing is you know, say you wanted to add tea cream to a pre-workout, to that pre-workout formula you have the NPN on, you have to start that process right from scratch.
Wow.
It's actually insane compared to the U.S. You know, you have your huge list of ingredients you can choose from. You just make sure you don't put any banned substances in there.
Yep.
Make sure you have a good manufacturer, and basically go from there. You know, you see some pre-workouts, 600 milligrams caffeine, 300 milligrams DMAA, 200 milligrams of area. It's stuff like that's not a good look, but you know what I mean. It's self-regulated.
Yep. So Marc, when you first launched, give or take 2 years ago, as you mentioned, you come out with Relentless version 1, correct?
Yeah, which would have just been Relentless, yes.
And you're killing it, because I know I see it all over social media. People are eating up like crazy, because I know you've got caffeine and DMAA, and obviously it's full disclosure and some other great ingredients. How long are you on the market with that before you get hit with, okay, no more DMHA?
7 months until Amazon kicked the DMAA to the curb. That was December of 2017.
So now, were you already thinking of a version 2? Were you kind of already thinking ahead of time, or was it kind of like, shit, I got to go into overdrive and come out with this version 2 now?
No, legit, to be honest with you, Sean, I already had the version 2 formula ready to go. You know, it took 6 or 7 different formulas before I settled on the V2 formula. But even when we started selling the original Relentless, the DMHA was, you know, a super gray area ingredient back then, and it was just a matter of time. But Robbie at the time, he was nervous about using that ingredient, but I said, you know, if Iron Brothers comes out with just a shitty C4 knockoff or something like that, nobody's going to know. Like, you need to come out swinging, and you need to get the name out there right away.
Yep.
So it did suck when Amazon, you know, kicked the DMHA to the curb, but it was expected, and that got us to get our website up a lot sooner than we had anticipated. But kind of leads into my day yesterday when I received an email from Amazon saying that the following detail page have been removed from our catalog. They deleted the 3 flavors of the Relentless V2 formula along with the sample pack listing. because in their words, the product has been identified as a supplement that contains Hordenine, which is not a permissible dietary ingredient in the U.S. Amazon prohibits the listing or sale of Amazon products that contain Hordenine. If you disagree with this determination, please upload a picture of the ingredient list, blah, blah, blah. So it happened again. That's 2 pre-workouts now that have been blackballed from Amazon. And unfortunately, the thermal burn formula, or fat burner formula, is that also had a 75 milligrams of Hordenine in there. So all of those products are getting shipped out of Amazon now. Luckily, once again, I had another pre-workout formula ready. We're just getting the labels done up now. The thermal burn will be a quick fix. We'll just remove the Hordenine, add an undisclosed new ingredient in there, and hopefully get that back up in 3 or 4 weeks and take off where we left off.
So now, I guess writing on the wall, they're doing this because I keep hearing things around, the internet and whatnot, that the FDA is looking at banning Hordenine and hegetamine, if I'm saying that correctly. Are you hearing that as well? Is that what you're thinking that Amazon is doing this?
The only thing I've read so far is that it's on a dietary supplement ingredient advisory list, I believe it's called.
Okay.
And I think it's on hegetamine, Hordenine, DMAA, and another ingredient that I can't recall right now.
I thought I read synephrine, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe synephrine? Did I read that somewhere?
I don't think it's. You know what? That could be on the list next week.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think it's synephrine though.
Okay. So now, when you say Amazon, now in this case, you get the letter, the email, the warning. Now, does Amazon clear out their inventory and send it back to you personally, or what do they do in that case with product they can't carry out?
I wish they did. They basically they give us 30 days to create a removal order.
Okay.
And basically they will pack up all of the units of the Relentless, the V2 formula, ship that to our fulfillment center, and they will do the same with the thermal burn formula. The only thing is, when you have a lot of inventory, Amazon is great at spreading that inventory across the country, so people can get, same-day delivery, next-day delivery. So I say those products are probably scattered between 30 and 40 warehouses, but whatever, that's the cost of doing business. So
I know,
the bill for that.
But God, you've been kicked twice. I hope this is it. I mean, obviously with the DMAA and now this.
Yeah, and you know what? I took such care when formulating the V2 Formula 2 to make sure something like this wouldn't happen again. And when I heard Hordenine was on the list, I was kind of a little shocked and taken back, because I wouldn't have suspected that within a million years.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see how many other people, I'm sure, God, there's going to be so many people that are getting that same type of email or letter that you're getting as well. And, I kind of wonder to a point, because I know Amazon is trying to make, or I should say, is making their own products, their own branded line, whatever it is. I'm wondering if they're trying to push their own products and really start phasing everybody out to a point.
If you had asked me that about 6-7 months ago, I would have said yes, but it kind of seems like they've dropped the big headline ads on their products, and I'm not seeing them on their platform as much as I used to. To be honest, I don't think they were selling like Amazon had hoped, so I think they're kind of taking their foot off of that gas pedal for the time being.
So now, are you going to go ahead, obviously you're going to clear out as best you can, your inventory from Amazon, but are you still going to carry the products on your website, though? Or are you going to get rid of them all in general?
We have a lot of stock, just because, the more you run, the cheaper, things on your cost per unit. So lots of time to think on that one. The FDA does have it on that, that supplement advisory list or whatever. So it's a tough call. Once I read that article of the FDA mentioning those ingredients, I knew that the V2 and the thermal burn were in trouble, because Amazon and the FDA, and I guess it's a good thing. They have the safety of their consumers in hand. But it just makes me wonder, like, what do I put in this next? pre-workout. Is caffeine still going to be all right in 6 months, or is that going to be banned too? Or?
I wonder if high tech is going to step up and sue for these two ingredients or these ingredients as well, or if they've kind of learned their lesson from DMAA and have done battling the FDA.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I read an article the other day saying they got all the DMAA back, but they're not allowed to use it.
I saw that. They had 3 or 4 truckfuls sent back, but they can't sell it. I couldn't figure that out.
Yeah, no, exactly. But that's a pretty big win.
I guess, but again, if you can't turn it into dollars, unless you're just giving it to all your employees, I guess.
Yeah, they probably just take that and destroy it. But I mean, the court case win is pretty big. Sure, they're not too worried about the price of that DMAA.
Well, exactly. Marc, you've got a very robust product line. You've got fat burner, test booster, nitric oxide, pre-workout, joint supplement, sleep aid. What else are you looking? Are you going to stay within these categories? Or is there any new categories you're looking at in the next 6 months to a year, whether it's protein or something else that people would want to know about?
I don't know about protein. There's some pretty cool proteins out there lately, and some of the flavoring would be hard to match. And to be honest with you, I don't think there's too much money to be made in protein. I see Olympus Labs. They have a pretty awesome protein. Their Superior Protein. Mm-hmm. They seem to be kicking that to the curb. So if Olympus Labs can't pull it off with their marketing skills and their high quality protein, I'm not going to take a try on it. Not yet. Maybe down the road, just to round out the line a little more.
Yep. And it's interesting. I love how the protein category has now almost reinvented itself with the cereal pieces and the candy pieces and everything else. But now I feel like everybody's doing it. So now that's saturated. So we almost need like something new again to reinvigorate protein.
Well, I think Inspired has come out with the digestive enzymes and stuff, the probiotics in the protein, and I see a couple other companies are starting to follow suit on that. So my guess would be that's going to be the next overly saturated protein on the market.
Yeah, no, I could see that. Marc, if I could ask you a personal question, with people that are looking at starting their own supplement company, because now, again, you're coming on 2 years, I consider you, very well-versed and maybe an expert, maybe not an expert, but what advice do you have for people that maybe want to try their own supplement company? Good, bad, or different?
That's a tough one, because I took $30,000 of my oil field money sunk that into the Relentless V1, and I've been really lucky. I think people connected. I don't know if they connected with the brand or the logo, but once they started using the original V1, strawberry lemonade was the only flavor we had for about 5 months. But after that, we came out with a test booster in January of 2018. Okay. And that fucking connected, man. That was almost like all the planets aligned. Everything just aligned, and that fucking product blew up. Like we were selling like 200 bottles a day. I think the record was 255 bottles a day.
Really?
So yeah, man. So like that product is what paved the way for Iron Brothers to come out with higher quality products like like our Relentless V2. Like the Thermo Burn, like our Recharge VCAAs, and other products down the line. Also been able to get me that initial startup funds back, which is always a good thing.
Sure.
But to be honest with you, now when I look, we have a fulfillment center, and it's not cheap. Everything is not cheap. Like you need a lot of money to run a supplement company these days. So, I guess my advice would be if you have a lot of money, you can take a crack at it. But there's a lot of cool brands in the U.S. now and a lot of them are owned by these these big multi-million-dollar manufacturing facilities. Mm-hmm. When you have endless amounts of funds, and you can start out with 5,000 pre-workout and 5,000 fat burner, and you're getting it at cost, and you have X amount of dollars for marketing, and you have your fucking, the website, Iron Brothers website has been a work in progress for over a year and a half now. You hire a professional to come in, you pay them 10, 15 grand to do you up this top shelf website, and then, just for example, you go out and you get Conor McGregor and, Joey Swole, and you get these fucking insta famous, mega famous people to take a few pictures with your product. It's a lot easier than, someone like myself who started off with, one product, 1,000 units of pre-workout.
So, Marc, if someone goes to your website directly, let's say I go to buy the nitric oxide booster and I add it to the cart, is that going straight to? Is that sale going straight to you, or is it really going to Amazon?
No, it's we have a fulfillment center. They're top shelf. They're out of Tulsa, Midwest Logistics. They're great. Just give them a little shout out there. But no, we have a third-party fulfillment center that handles all of that.
So what percentage of your overall sales come from your website? I know your website, I think you mentioned, is fairly newer versus the sales on Amazon.
Oh man, I'm not going to lie, it's less than 10%, 8% maybe.
So I'm sorry, 7 or 8% on your website, or 7 or 8% through Amazon?
No, Amazon is the lion's share. So 7-8% through the website. Yeah.
Okay. So it's worth, because I guess that's one of the big things, that people don't have the capital, because I know there is a capital expenditure to sign an account or whatever with Amazon. So if people have the money, would you recommend them doing a deal with Amazon as well?
Like doing a deal, like partnering up with Amazon?
Yes, because I've heard, I might be wrong, I've heard that Amazon lately, if you want to put a supplement line on there, you have to pay them like $2,500, $3,000 to them to add your products to their catalog or their marketplace, whatever they call it.
Yeah, you know what? Now that you mention it, we had to pay $3,200 to get ungated to sell the sports nutritional supplements, but I think that they dropped that about 2 months after we got ungated. I'm not sure if they came back with it or not.
Okay. Because I've always wondered about that, because I know Amazon has the lion's share, but again, you were fortunate enough to have a nice, healthy investment, and obviously you got the rewards back, it sounds, very quickly. But I know with other people, they think that they can enter the supplement line market with one product for $2,500, and we both know it's not going to go anywhere.
No, I wouldn't say. Not unless you get struck by lightning.
Yeah, exactly. Or you have a generic catalog type prop blend.
Exactly. And I'm a humble guy. I'm not trying to brag or anything like this. But for me, like I think I have an OCD, because I'm just fucking. I'm relentless. Like I wake up in the morning, I brush the sleep out of my eyes, and I hop on and I start checking email and the fucking Instagram messages, and talking to people, and I'm getting my little girl Olivia ready to take her to the school bus, and I'm texting this guy, and I'm emailing this guy, and lining up this and lining up that, and then the same thing in the night. Iron Brothers is getting a ton of love now from Australia. God love the guys over there. So when I do leave the office and I get home, it's pretty much I'm on Instagram for 2 or 3 hours, just building relationships and talking to people and video chats, and
So now, Marc, how long are you going to be home for before you have to go back to the fields?
I've been home now. I got laid off February 15th.
Oh, did you? Okay.
And I'm not going to lie, the office called they called maybe March 1st or something.
Okay.
And I didn't answer, but they haven't called back since. But I needed some time to focus solely on Iron Brothers and try and grow this motherfucker as fast as I can.
Yep.
And try and get those website sales from 7 to 8% to 15-20%, because as great as Amazon is for Iron Brothers, you don't want to have all your eggs in one basket. That's why I'm so appreciative. I'm so appreciative of the love we get from Australia. We actually have a new account, Optimal Subs. He just put in a big order, so we're going to be in South Africa soon. That's pretty exciting. Yeah, that's super exciting, and it's looking like we're hooking up with a gentleman from the UK. So it's global domination.
So do you need to tweak any of the formulas before they hit those other countries, or can you go as is?
South Africa is good to go. The Relentless V2 is the big seller down under.
Okay.
That's good to go. And, Not yet, not yet. That's something we'll look into when we get a little bigger.
Oh, Mark, can you hear me? Mark?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. So what is your end goal for Iron Brothers? Do you want to go ahead and be the next BSN, the next Muscle Tech? Do you want to grow and then eventually maybe cash out in 15 years? What's your goal?
You know what? At this time, I don't really have a goal. I just want the brand to keep getting bigger. I just want to keep getting the products into people's hands. That's the biggest thing right now. Getting the people to try the product. Let the product do the talking.
Yep.
Instead of the marketing, because we don't spend a lot of money on marketing. I have sample packs of the V2. I'll gladly send that out to anyone that's wanting to try the formula, free of charge. I just slowly want to keep releasing premium products and take it from there and keep working on these relationships. It's good, when a guy is steady, when he just doesn't want to give up. When giving up is not an option. The people, people come around once a month or once every few weeks, and you develop a good friendship, and then the next thing, they start out with, 24 or 36 V2, and then the next thing they're ordering 100 and 100 of this and 100 of that, and I just think slow growth for the next couple of years, get some more sales going through the website,
yep,
make some more connections, make some more friends, and let the products do the talking for them. It's one thing that kind of separates Iron Brothers from the majority of the other companies out there now is, for one, I'm far from a multi-millionaire. I love working out. I work out every day. That's the only way I start my day. But I'm definitely not an IFBB pro, far from it. I'm not Instagram famous. I think I only have 650 followers. So if anybody's listening, give me a follow thing or a game and get that count up to maybe 700. But no, I'm just a regular guy, and I like to help people, and I want to see people get the supplements that they're paying for. I don't want to put out a $10 formula and charge $59.99 for it.
I know, and I think that's one of my biggest peeves. There was a protein that I saw that was dropped the other day. It was a $90 protein. It supposedly had colostrum and some other things in it. But again, it's trying to find that fine line of you get what you pay for, but sometimes it's educating people that, listen, yes, you can get a $24.99 pre-workout, and it's well underdosed, but it's educating the people on, okay, yes, you're going to pay premium for maybe one of your products, but you get what you pay for.
Exactly. And, educating the consumer on Amazon is probably not the best place to do it, because there's some pre-workouts on there. I think it's a $4 formula, but these guys are selling 8,000-9,000 tubs a month at $39.99, and it's like, who's buying this stuff? But I think there's a large percentage of the population needs to become a little more educated with what they're putting in their body.
I agree, and it's forums. I'm going to give myself a shameless plug here. It's forums like my show and people like Supplement Snoop behind the Supps and other great people out there that are really putting forward that passion, that drive to help bring people like yourself and educate the listeners and make people understand what they're using.
Oh, 100%. And the thing I noticed was you and Supplement Snoop, God love Justin, he's one of my good buddies, is that all these other reviewers out there and stuff like that, they're getting good. They're getting paid good money to say what they're told to say about these new cutting edge products that come out. I like when people keep it real. When people aren't swayed by money.
That's it. And I think people need to understand that they need to take reviews with a grain of salt. And I don't mean that negatively, but again, what works for you, Mark, might not work for me, but just because of that doesn't mean it's a bad product or a bad item or bad whatever. It's just that we prefer different things.
No, exactly. Supplements affect everybody different, for sure.
Exactly. So, Mark, I want to quickly turn to my Instagram here, because we had a couple of people chime in, and I don't know if all the listeners have looked at Instagram, but I guess one person had chimed in, Honest Sup Reviews, wanting to know, what is your favorite cheat meal?
Cheat meal? Anything that's not good for you. Pizza, burgers, chips, ice cream.
Come on,
the kids candy.
But come on, what is your one or two go-to? Don't tell us everything.
I'd have to say I'd go with pizza. Papa John's.
Oh, Papa John's. I just lost respect for you, my friend.
Oh, what? You're not a Papa John's fan?
Well, we don't have a lot here in Boston, but we're here in the Northeast, between Boston and New York, we have real pizza.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I wish I could somehow get you some Cape Breton pizza. And I'm not lying. That is the best pizza in the world.
No, I know.
Where I grew up.
When I lived in Florida, I had a lot of Papa John's. So I guess when you look at the fast food chains, I'd probably say Papa John's is the best in my mind. So I have to defend you a little bit.
Maybe actually, and you know what? Maybe I say Papa John's. Papa John's is new to Canada, and it's only been around here for about 2 years. So maybe the novelty hasn't worn off yet.
That's what it is. Okay.
Yeah.
And of course, our friend Justin at Supplement Snoop wants to know when are you moving to the U.S. And you obviously replied ASAP, but I don't know if you really are kidding around or if you eventually want to get to the U.S.
Oh, well, Justin knows I'm currently waiting to get my pardon. I'm actually not allowed to enter the U.S. at the moment.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to say I was a bad motherfucker growing up, but I wasn't a good kid. Let's put it that way. I used to be a heavy drinker. I'm actually an alcoholic. I haven't had a drink. It'll be 4 years this August 9th.
Oh, good for you.
But man, when I used to drink, look out! It was like the Tasmanian devil.
Were you blackout drunk or just drunk?
Oh yeah. At the end of it, I was blackout every day. Wake up the next day like, what the fuck did I do last night? Why am I in the top? Why am I on the floor? Where's the wife?
Jeez. So
yeah,
what finally straightened you out?
Well, the wife had enough. She was going to leave.
Okay, yeah, that generally.
She was going to leave, and my little girl was. I'd always say, once Olivia gets to be close to 2, I'm going to quit. And guys, when you're an alcoholic, you always find excuses like, oh, it's payday. I'm going to get drunk tonight. It's the last day of the month. It's the first day of the month. It's the first day of summer. It's the last day of summer. But no, I had a few bad episodes. Getting too drunk and causing scenes and stuff like that. I actually had a DUI 13 years ago. That's what's holding me up now with the pardon.
Okay.
Nothing. There's no nothing serious. There's no robberies or homicides or abuse or there's no bad charges on there. But guy drinks. He does stupid things, and now unfortunately I have to pay for them and wait for that pardon to come in. And
Though, Marc,
if I had that, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's a thing of the past. Obviously, you've seen the right way. You've got a wonderful wife that is stuck behind you. It sounds like you've got a beautiful daughter, and you've got a flourishing business here. So that's all you can ask for.
Yeah, I have 3 daughters now.
Oh, 3 daughters.
Two and a half year old twins.
Oh wow! And what? What's the third?
The twins. Well, I have Olivia. She's 6, and then I have Harper and Harlow. That's the twins.
So wait, you have 4 girls in your house?
And Jacqueline, the wife. Yeah, 4 girls.
Jeez, God bless you. Oh, it's gonna. Oh man,
it's a nut house. It is. It's a nut house. That's why I spend so much time grinding on Iron Brothers. Spend so much time at the office.
Oh, just wait about 10 more years, my friend. It's gonna get a lot worse.
Oh, well, I thought you were going to say it's going to get better. It's not going to get any better. It's going to get worse.
No, just wait for, as I say, the hormones and everything else kicking in. Hormones and boys.
The boys. Well, the boys is what I'm worried about because their mother is, she's such a beautiful lady that, these kids are beautiful. And I'm not looking forward to getting older. Let's just leave it at that.
And Marc, another question if I can, because we're both a mutual friend of ours, Adam from the Lift Box. I've known Adam for many years now.
Oh, God love him. He's a handsome fella, eh?
Well, he was saying the same of you. Why are you so cool and handsome?
Really? Wow.
Yes.
I'm blushing.
I love Adam. Adam's a pretty boy. I have no shame in saying that, but I've got the utmost respect. He was a guest on our show like 2 years ago, and he had maybe, 10 subscribers to his box, and here we are 2 years later, we still keep in touch, and he's doing such wonderful things with his product and his box.
Yeah, no, God, when we finally, the samples, it took so long for us to get the samples. When we finally got those samples, he was the first guy that I wanted to make sure he got a good amount to put in his list box.
Yeah, super dude. And Marc, I want to end on this here, and then we'll wrap up here shortly. But I have to get something off my chest, and I'm sure you probably do not remember this. When you came on the scene 2 years ago, give or take, you were on my Instagram. All your posts were blowing up, and you made an error on one of your products. And
I remember that. Yeah.
And I looked at it and I said, okay, here's a fly-by-night guy that's going to come out and he'll be dead in 6 months because I see this big error. Do you remember what the error was?
Fuck, what, it was, betaine was down as beta anhydrous, wasn't it?
You spelled caffeine wrong.
No, really?
Yeah. Yes.
How was it spelled? How do I have it spelled? CAFEINE.
But that's one of my peeves with a lot of companies, and I know I'm kind of nitpicking.
I noticed. No, I've noticed that. Yeah, I do still spend a little time on Facebook and stuff, but I try to do it low profile. But no, for sure, and with good reason.
But Mark, I'm glad, and I mean this with the utmost, as you keep saying the term, you want to be honest. I'm being very honest here. I am glad 2 years later to see you surviving, doing very well, great personality, great products, and everybody loves you. So I want to take my hat off and I guess apologize a little bit for that. But the bigger thing that did attract me was you didn't blow me off. There's a lot of companies that I nicely call out and they blow me off. They kind of give me the fuck you. What do you know? And I'm thinking, well, you're a business. You want to just take it and fix it. And you were the guy that basically kind of acknowledged it and you fixed it. And I appreciate the hell out of you for that.
No, thanks for those kind words. But, as I mentioned earlier, I'm just a normal guy. And if anybody wants to help me out, I'll gladly take any help I can get. Anything that's going to be better for Iron Brothers?
Yes. But Marc, it's been a great conversation tonight. I know it's been a long time in the coming, and I know everyone is going to really enjoy this conversation. I know you've done other podcasts, but again, people are just going to love hearing us talk. But in closing, where can people learn about you? Plug your website, your social media, everything else.
Yeah, well, we have a functioning website now. It's actually ironbrothers.com. We scored that domain at Christmas time instead of the ironbrothersupplements.com, because who wants to sit down at a computer and type out all those fucking letters, eh? But no, it's ironbrothers.com. That's the website. And on Instagram, our Instagram handle is Iron Brothers Supplements. And I'm the bringer of gains. That's my personal account. And anybody feel free to give us a follow wherever. And if you want to reach out, I'll definitely make time to say hello or answer any questions.
Marc, any other plugs? Anything else maybe we didn't address on the show you would like to quickly end with?
No, just for the peeps that are listening in Canada, look out, 2020 products are coming, and they're going to be hot.
And we'll be looking forward to it, both here in the U.S. and Canada, as they say.
Hey, yeah, I say that 30 times a day. Nick says, why do you always say I don't know.
Nick's another one. Nick's a character. He's a reoccurring guest on my show, and I love the guy to death.
He's a beauty, yeah. Hopefully I'll become a reoccurring guest as well.
Oh, you better believe it. If you enjoyed this, and I know everybody else is, I definitely want to have you on again. Whether it's just talking industry, if you're dropping a new product, whatever it is. I mean, let's talk more.
Awesome. No, for sure. I kind of feel bad that it took so long for us to make this one happen. So let's make another one happen in the next couple of months here.
Definitely, Marc. Once again, I really do appreciate your time and continued success, my friend.
Yes, same to you. Thanks so much, man. It was great talking to you, and look forward to doing it again.
Same here. Take care, my friend. Be well.
Okay, have a good night. Thanks, Sean.
Bye now. And folks,
Bye-bye.
As always, thank you for tuning in. Check us out on Instagram at SuppTalk_radio and SuppTalkRadio.com. Have a great day.